What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, 4th edition, our Rise of the Forsaken campaign. I am joined once again by the party, which doesn't have much of a name right now. I believe the best one I saw was Dumb Luck. So I don't know if I like that one too much. I don't know if you guys came up with one. But regardless, I'm joined by Jumbo Smooth and Doobie209. I am, of course, Jumbo Thick, your DM, Game Master for the evening. And if you guys would like to briefly introduce yourselves before we dig into it.
Hello, everyone. I am Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf. If you ever seen a man get beat to death by two old men, that could definitely happen this episode. I feel like I'm scared.
You should be. Who said they were old? I didn't say that. How about you, Mr. Doobie?
That's true.
What's going on, guys and gals? Doobie209 here, playing the role of Seamus, and I guess I'm just going to roll in there like John Wick with that crossbow.
Yep, repeater crossbow coming in behind Marius. So I don't want to dally too long because we've got a big fight coming up, apparently. So let's just dive right in. If you've been following the campaign thus far, you're probably caught up. But for those that might be checking in for the first time, a brief, very brief recap of what has been happening. So our band of adventurers have somehow managed to find their way into the land of Nippon, very, very, very far from the Empire. It has been a harsh, treacherous trip. Seamus broke his jaw at one point. Marius was mauled by a tiger. You both almost drowned. You were then drugged and essentially captured and shackled to a dark elf who you then murdered. You also gained a few interesting things there. You've gained some very unique masks that have magical properties. And Seamus was so bold as to grab a hold of a sword, and I believe it was called the Hellforge, and is now bound to it in some way or somehow. We're not sure. But you've utilized that to great effect in the most recent past, where you guys have been following the trail, or at least just blindly moving towards a very large mountain in the distance that Marius believes he has some connection to. You made your way up the mountain. It took several days' travel just to get to the top of just climbing stairs. The embankment, when you finally reached the top, was shrouded in mist and possibly cloud. You then were set upon by the gatekeepers of some large structure, a very large wall, who happened to turn out to be ogres, which you then slew viciously without taking any damage, I might add. Then once inside of said gate, you came across what appears to be some kind of monastery or some kind of large mountainous structure up at the top of this, or man-made structure up at the top of this mountain. And you entered unopposed. There appeared to be no guards. Once inside, through very good rolls, you found you managed to bypass quite a bit of the stronghold that you're in, and followed a trail of what appears to be some kind of guards. There are a select few guards on the inside, from what you've been able to discern. The building is in shambles. It is very old. There are holes in the walls, and it is just in a rough state of things. You ambushed a set of guards, decided to kill them and take their clothing, wear that. You then, through a bad set of rolls, encountered another set of guards whom saw through your disguise, and you battled and killed once again without taking any damage whatsoever. So 3 fights in a row, no damage taken. It was very impressive, I must say. Then you guys have been hearing mysterious chanting throughout this entire structure as you've been moving through. And you actually, after you slew the final set of guards, not bothering to check where they came from or check out any of the rest of this building. You have been hearing chanting this entire time, and it was emanating from a large double set of doors that you came across that were kind of embolized in bronze. You managed to, well, Seamus in particular, decided to put on his mask. That gave you advantages to perception checks with smell, but not so much with sight. You peeked your head in the door and saw a interesting sight beyond. I believe what you saw, just for a recap for you two, is a room very brightly lit, though you cannot see the ceiling for some reason. Either it is just impossibly tall or there's some kind of trick of the light where you can't see the ceiling. It is circular. It is about 60 feet across in the radius. So 30 feet to the center, 30 feet past. You saw a altar of some kind of a dubious origin. It appears to be also made of stone and possibly capped with bronze of some kind. Interesting symbols carved upon it. You could not discern much about the floor because of your not very decent perception check. But it would be impossible not to notice the 3 humanoids that were circling said altar. 2 of them appeared to have no clothing from the waist up. They appear to be only wearing loose kind of robe-like material from the waist down. Heavily tattooed, heavily muscled, and clean-shaven heads, as far as you could tell. In the with your not so great perception check wearing that mask. You also saw a samurai who you believe might be the exact same one that you escaped from during your time in captivity not too long ago. He's wearing lacquered red wooden armor that has bits of metal underneath. There's obviously possibly some kind of chainmail underneath as well. And he has a large 2-handed sword resting before him as he is almost in a prayer position at the foot of this altar, with the 2 other individuals on the flanks, on the sides of it, doing something. You just couldn't tell what they were doing. Seamus, you also smelled 2 more individuals in this room. You don't know exactly where they're at. You know that one of them was on the left once you entered the door, and one was on the right once you entered the door somewhere. You could not see them, but you know they are in the room. You also saw a set of statues. You're not sure how many statues are in said room, but they line the outside of the walls. And they are in hideous shapes. They are about 10 to 12 feet tall, and they are carved from some kind of unique stone that has been molded into human shapes that appear to be writhing and changing, almost as if they are mutating mid-sculpting. It's a very horrifying and grisly sight. And I believe that about brings us up to speed, with the exception of after this knowledge was imparted to Marius Wolf, he decided to take off his armor, remove most of his clothing, and imbibe the essence of Tarkag, who then shifted his muscles massively, bulging them, and greatly increasing his strength. And gripping his pick 2-handed, burst into the doors that open inward towards you, burst them off the hinges, and they were flung into the room, scraping against the ground. And that should be exactly where we left off. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds right.
Sounds about right. Okay, so Marius. First off, I'm going to have you guys roll me initiative right off the bat.
All right. Oh, shit. 12.
12. Okay, good. How about you, Seamus?
I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. All right. There's right there. And Seamus. Right there. Okay. I've got you two in the initiative order. So, Marius, unfortunately, this is not a surprise round because you notice that as soon as you burst into the room, first off, make me a perception check just to see what all you can glance in this moment.
Okay. 48 out of 34.
Okay, so a fail. All right, so you don't glean much more than what I've already explained then. You don't see anything else. What you can discern is the floor that you are standing on, now that you're standing on it, is not the same wood or mat-like material that has been the rest of the structure. It appears to be cold, almost like stone. You can feel almost a cold emanating from it, so it's probably natural stone, possibly the natural bedrock of this mountain itself. But that is that. So you enter, you're almost in a rage-like state at this point. I'm going to say you get about 10 feet into this room as the doors skitter past, almost all the way to the altar with how much force you put into checking them. And you see before you, Marius, the samurai figure, the wooden armor. You see him grip his sword and begin to rise and turn in your direction. At the same time, you see over the top of him, you see that this altar, there appears to be three things settled on the altar. You don't have a good, in your like raged kind of state. And this quick glance, you can't tell what they are. There are some items on there. But one of them, well, two of them are being held by the humanoid individuals that are standing to each side of this altar. One of them appears to has two hands on the side of one, holding it open, almost like a book, if that makes any sense. Holding it open, almost as if he was showing the other one across the altar as the smoke and odd colors are emanating from it over the top of it. And the other one is pushing something towards it. And even with your fail, you're so familiar with it that you recognize it as the scroll that you were once had in your possession. And you see the scroll, and he's holding it, and they are chanting to each other. It's been the chanting that you've been hearing this entire time. And as the paper gets closer to the what appears to be the leather bindings of possibly some kind of book that's open wide, you see you see small strips of possibly thread or something snake out of the book and wrap themselves around the edge of the scroll and begin pulling it into the book itself, as if a living thing was attaching itself once again. It is horrifying in its aspect, but this is just a quick glance. And as you were seeing this happen, you hear footsteps to your left. Do you turn?
Yeah, I probably glance. I don't know if to see. I don't know how far I need to turn.
You glance over your shoulder, and there is a figure sprinting towards you. Appears that they were also off to the side of the door somewhere, off on the side of this room. I will also mention that the braziers around the room are flickering a almost unnatural blue kind of light, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it bathes this room in a very interesting color. But the figure running towards you, as you can see, it appears to be a man. About the height of most of the Nipponese people that you've seen. He is naked from the waist up, similar to the figures at the altar. You notice that he has a large set, a necklace in particular, that has these very large balls, almost like prayer beads that me and you would know of, but Marius would have no idea what these are. But they are very, very big, and they appear to be skulls of some kind wrapped around his neck. He's heavily tattooed, and he has a two-handed staff clutched between both of his fists, and he is charging at you with the staff held in one hand, and as he closes the distance, he swings it around, spins around in an arc, and is going to attempt to remove your head with it.
Oh, gee.
Wow. So I need you to roll defense, sir.
All right. Let's see here. That would be 39 out of 50.
Okay. So
success.
you just in this split second, almost your warrior instinct taking over at this point, because you are a seasoned adventurer at this point in your career, and almost out of instinct, you bring the pickup over your shoulder and catch the tip of the quarterstaff before it makes contact with your head. It pings off of the metal, and it vibrates in his hand, though it appears that it doesn't affect him much. And he is actively chanting as this happens. It's almost unnerving. He's making eye contact with you, but it's almost like his spirit or mind is elsewhere. It pings off the side. He then, after almost taken aback by the block, you see him crouch low and sweep his legs, a leg out below you.
Shit.
I need you to either make a dodge or another block.
All right. Can I add a success level?
Yes, I'll give you your success level.
Okay. That is going to be... Oh, shit. That's going to be 62 out of 60.
62 out of 60. Do you want to re-roll that with your fortune, or do you want to make it a success?
Yeah, I'll re-roll it. I'll do a re-roll.
Okay.
I don't want to hit so early. All right, I'm going to re-roll. Oh, fuck. That's a 1. Oh.
Okay, this is awkward.
Did he roll? You roll a 1 as well?
I also rolled a 1.
Jesus!
But what is your how many levels of success would you have?
That would be 1 level, let me see, that would be 6 levels, I guess? 6 levels of success?
Okay, so I'm going to say you beat him on this, but because you both rolled criticals, I'm just going to have them negate, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the foot sweeps low, and Marius, you plant your feet solid, and you feel connection against your leg, but it doesn't move you. And the man retreats his leg back and stands once again, very taken aback that you managed to evade or block both attacks in this instance. You can take another point of momentum.
All right.
And as soon as that's over, Marius, now that you're facing this guy's direction, you hear the pitter-patter of feet behind you in the other direction.
Oh, goody.
And you have enough time to glance over your shoulder to see another humanoid. This time, however, as he closes the distance, still naked from the waist up with the kind of cloth-like material for pants. I will also mention that they are not wearing shoes. They're barefoot. You notice that his hands are wrapped with strips of cloth, and they appear to be bloodied and soiled. And the most interesting feature that draws to mind as he closes distance with you is he doesn't have a nose or mouth, as they have been pulled into almost like a bird-like beak on his face.
Oh.
And he caws as he closes the distance with you. And as he closes, he jumps in the air, spins, and a foot comes flying at your head. I need you to roll defense or a dodge, sir.
All right. It's going to be a 29 out of 70.
Out of 70, so that is
4 success.
4 success levels. You are doing pretty damn good. So you manage. So this time I'm going to say you probably bring the pick up behind you. And once again, the foot connects with it. And ping, kind of knocks the pick almost out of your grasp. But you're Marius Wolf. You hold on to that pick. It's not going anywhere. Kind of foaming at the mouth a little bit at this point. He settles onto the ground, and then he lurches towards you with a fist just towards your abdomen. So make one more defense.
Okay. That's a bro. Don't be upset,
what is it?
Bro. It's a 1.
No, it's not.
It is.
You can't roll a 1 again.
I rolled it. I don't know what to say. Sorry. Yeah.
How many levels of success do you have? God.
That would be 8.
You're Marius Wolf.
8 levels of success.
8 levels. Holy shit.
Yeah.
How much damage is that?
Well, let me think here. That would be 23.
Oh
20
my
damage.
God. Roll me a D100.
All right. 75.
75. Let me make sure. Okay, and roll me one more.
Okay. 7.
Okay, that's not too bad, but it still is more than enough. So as you see the fist moving in after parrying the strike to your head, you reverse your grip on the pick, almost underhanded, and catch him as his body's moving past you, moving with a almost animalistic cunning that he wasn't contemplating or wasn't prepared for, and the pick bites deep into his gut, just sinks all the way through. You see the tip of it burst out the back as it goes clean through his body. You feel him go limp, and you see a fresh splash of blood just covers the tip of your pick and probably the lower half of your body as he just starts bleeding quite a bit from the wound. You pull back on the pick, and he falls to the ground before you, not moving at the moment. He doesn't appear to be dead, but he appears to be incapacitated.
Okay.
And it is now your turn, Marius Wolf.
All right. Give her a go. I'm going to attack the monk who is, or the shirtless man.
Shirtless man. You could call him monks. It's fine. The guy with the prayer beads.
Yes, the guy with the prayer beads and the staff.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an attack.
All right. I think I'm at plus 40 if I'm doing my math right.
Yes, you are.
So that'd be 19 out of 90.
Well, he definitely cannot get out of the way. He attempts to shift his body, almost in shock out of what just happened. the damage that you just dealt to his compatriot in a fell swoop. And the pick takes him in his left arm. He's not prepared for you. You swing it back around, connect, goes through the arm. How much total damage is that?
Well, that would be 24 if I use 9 levels of success.
Oh my god.
Multi-juiced up with Tarkak juice.
You are. Oh, 24?
Yes, 24.
That is just enough to, as the blade pierces through the arm, it must have also gone through the torso. Similar to what you just did to the other, the man with the beak on his face. You feel the pick dig deep into this man's body and obviously hit something rather vital as blood begins shooting out of the wound, and you hear the chanting immediately stops, and he just kind of and slumps off of your weapon onto the floor, also unmoving and bleeding profusely from his wound. You have a free action and your movement still, so...
Gosh, you said how far is the altar from where I am right now, and the samurai?
You're about 10 feet in, so it's about 20 feet from you. There is the person closest to you appears to be the samurai. He is standing at this point watching this unfold, though he is wearing one of those kind of rodent-like masks that both you and Seamus have. And so you cannot see his facial features, but he doesn't seem shaken by your display of martial prowess.
Oh, okay. Question. Golly. How is there something I can kind of get cover behind? Any?
So the room is pretty much open around you.
Okay.
As far as cover, you could, no, you wouldn't be able to take much cover behind the statues, even though they are large, because you'll just be open to the rest of the room.
Okay.
You get the idea that this space is probably set up like this on purpose.
Okay.
It appears that it might have some kind of ritual significance to it. So there's nothing really to hide behind, unless you want to leave the room. You very well can do that.
I might move up a 10 feet, maybe.
Okay, so that puts you at
closer.
That puts you at only 10 feet from the samurai.
Okay.
Do you want to close distance with him, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll probably close all the way distance to him, get right in his face.
In your rage, in Marius's moment, in his rage, you're confident. You just slayed two people in a single round somehow. And you charge this man, which I might add, you guys are about the same height, so he's not that imposing to you. I mean, you've slain demons. You begin running towards him, and as you close the distance, you see that he has one hand on the scabbard of his blade, and the other rests on the pommel. Or not the pommel, the actual handle, the grip of his sword. And you do notice that the scabbard is a pure white, almost like snow. And as you close the distance, Seamus, where are you? Are you glancing through the doorway?
I am.
Okay, so Seamus, you see... As Marius closes the distance, you see suddenly Marius is engulfed in the brightest light, as if the sun was just lit inside this room. Marius, you see the man begin to draw his sword, and then you see nothing. You just see white. You are the proud owner of 2 blinded conditions.
Oh, good.
So you can write that down.
All right.
Oof. Let me double check here. Go ahead and roll me defense, Marius.
All right. That's a 41 out of 100.
41 out of 100. So,
Yeah.
Marius, in your blinded state, your attacker has advantage.
Oh, yeah.
On,
Do I? Okay, I was
on
about to say.
attacking you.
Don't need
You
it.
don't have to. Yeah, you don't have. It's not. You don't have to roll a disadvantage.
Okay.
He has advantage on attacking you. And in this state, you are left wide open. You are in complete shock after what happened. Let me roll real quick.
Oh, gee.
All right. Let me check something.
A lot of checking, bro. Did you get a crit, bro? Don't crit me, bro.
A lot of checking.
A lot of crits flying around tonight.
A lot of shit.
Yes, finally. You
Oh.
feel cold steel part your right bicep. You take what's that? Let's see here. 10 wounds. You just take 10 wounds, as this is a critical hit.
Crit.
You
I
lose
assumed.
10 wounds. And roll a d10 for me.
All right.
Jeez.
Uh, 7.
Your right arm goes limp.
Oh,
Completely limp for 7 rounds.
oh,
It
gee.
is useless at your side.
Oh no.
Your pick drops at your feet. And the light fades as now you can't see, but Seamus, you see the light fade as the samurai sheaths his blade, almost as if the light was coming from the blade itself. And it looks like he stands at the ready. And that is the end of his turn.
No, all right.
All right. There we go. I'm liking this already now. Okay, much better, much better. Seamus, it is now your turn.
Alright, so seeing Marius go into the room, Hulk style, rip people apart, and then getting humbled by that samurai, I'm going to come in and fire one of my few repeating crossbow bolts at the samurai if he is within range.
Okay. Marius is directly in the line of sight. If you would like to, you
Damn
can
it,
move
Marius.
into the room to
Yeah,
possibly
move a
get a
little.
better angle.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm busting through those doors, Hawkeye style, I'm gonna-
Okay. So
Kinda move
you've
in.
got the bolt ready. Are you going left or right?
Naturally, I want to go left.
Okay. The room is identical. That's the first thing you notice as I'm assuming you're not wearing the mask anymore.
No.
Okay, yeah. So the mask is like pushed to the side of your head or possibly stolen away. It doesn't really matter. You move to the left, and the one thing you notice is this room is symmetrical. It's identical on both sides of the room. As you're moving to the left, are you going to move your full movement to try to get a good angle, or how far are we moving in?
Yeah, I would move probably enough to where he's not in my way.
Okay. I would say you'd probably need to take at least 20 feet or so into the room to get a angle without disadvantage on it.
All right.
And as you are passing by, you draw aim on the samurai who appears, from what you can tell, it appears that he's not paying much attention to you. He's more focused on the hulking monstrosity that he has the task of slaying now. And you notice that the two men at the altar are still chanting actively, despite the mayhem that has just exploded. Almost as if they are trying to finish something before they might act.
Mm-hmm.
You are free to take your shot.
All right, let's do this. Oh, ooh. That is going to be a 50 out of 56.
Okay, that is actually a critical hit for you. With the repeater crossbow, that's 9 damage. It's because it's not a full success. But go ahead and roll me a D100.
That is a 76.
76. All right, roll me one more D100.
37.
Okay, so Seamus, you let loose the bolt, taking aim at the imposing samurai figure at this point, and you go with the tried and true, straight for the body. It passes underneath where his arms are, right around the ribs, and you see it easily just pass through the armor, and you see him shift from the impact and almost loses his grip on his sword. And he kind of you see the head glance over in your direction, though he doesn't make a sound. And it appears that you've done significant damage to this individual. You have 10 more feet of movement, and you have a free action if you'd like to do anything.
I'll use my free action to say how I fucking hate this place.
That is fine. Is that going to be the end of your turn?
That will be the end of my turn.
Seamus, since Marius is blinded currently, you kind of see from your angle the two figures over the altar continue chanting, and then suddenly there's a almost electric shock that kind of emanates from the altar itself, and there's a boom noise, almost like a gunshot going off, and they both back away from the altar. One of them turns towards Marius Wolf, and the other one turns in your direction. But they do not move. But they look ready. It is at this moment that, Seamus, you glance over to your left, and on the other side of the room, there appears to be a small opening that you did not see. And you hear as two more humanoid figures come running through this open door. Both of them naked from the waist up, garbed similarly to the other men in this room. They are 30 feet from you, and they're about 40 feet from Marius Wolf. But you see them, and that's all they do for now. Marius, you lose a blinded condition at the end of the round.
Okay.
And now it is your turn. So you still have one blinded condition.
Okay.
And your arm hangs useless to your side. So essentially, it's going to give you The rules are kind of interesting for blinding. So essentially what the book says is that you suffer a -10 penalty to any test involving sight, which involves you attacking with a weapon. So you have a -10 to attacks right now until your blinded conditions are removed.
Okay. I guess since I can't wield a two-handed weapon right now,
I would say you can remove your blinded condition with a resolve point.
Okay.
If you'd like.
I probably would do that. Move it with resolve.
Okay. And now what are you going to do? Your pick lies at your feet.
Yeah. So I'll probably I can't wield it, right? Like I can't.
With as strong as you are right now, you can pick it up, but I'm going to consider it a one-handed weapon. Okay. And you could swing it with your one arm, your good arm at the moment.
My one-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's what I'll do. Then I'll grab that then and swing at it with the.
Okay.
Swing at the.
Yeah, go ahead and make your attack then. Not okay. with your two-handed bonuses, with any one-handed bonus you might have.
I know. Just my one-handed stuff. Yeah. All right, here we go. That's a 27 out of 37.
So 27 out of 37. How many was that? So that's one level.
One. Yeah, exactly one. Yeah.
So let's see here. You see him. Here's the odd thing. He doesn't draw the blade to deflect. He keeps it in the sheath and moves it up and parries aside your attempt with your pick away from him. Smacks it aside with the sword in the sheath itself. Okay. And without making a noise, puts it down by his hip and looks like he's ready to draw it once again. Is that going to be all that you do?
That's pretty much it. So, I'll just be here.
Okay. Marius, you know what's about to happen. Go ahead and roll some defense.
All right. That's going to be 15 out of 37.
Marius Wolf. Even one-handed, you see him reach down and grab the hilt of his sword. And he begins to draw it. Go ahead and make me an endurance test real quick.
Okay.
Or actually, no, this would be in that. We'll go endurance.
Okay. Endurance would be 20 out of 60.
Okay. I'm going to say that having seen or experienced what just happened, you managed to close your eyes in time to not be blinded as he releases the sword. But in your semi-blinded state, you instinctively bring the pick down low as the blade was inches from connecting with your left leg. And out of some instinct or maybe the intervention of some deity, who knows, you managed to get the pick down in time before the blade could cleave through your thigh. Stopping it, it reverberates off of the weapon and recoils, and you feel the light dim as it's sheathed once again, and you open your eyes. This all happens within the span of just a few seconds. And he is hunched down low, still gripping his sword. It's at this point in time, so you can take he's lost his momentum. You have 10 momentum now. Or plus 10, 1 momentum.
Yeah, plus 10.
You see Seamus, it is now your turn.
All right. I'm gonna keep, I guess, moving to the left and try to get another shot off on this.
Are you going to move? So currently, you are almost even. Well, you're a little bit short of even with Marius into this room.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep moving forward, you're going to be well within the range of what you think will be these two incoming assailants. You also probably will be in range with the one closest to you at the altar, the other humanoid. Do you want to move further in, or do you want to retreat?
I guess I'll move a little further in.
Okay. So you move a little bit further in, and who are you taking a shot at someone?
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the samurai so he stops trying to blind people.
Okay. Go ahead and make me another shot.
All right. Oh, man. These are close rolls. That is a 61 out of 66.
61 out of 66. That's a level of success. That's 9 damage. Let me see. 61. That is... Nope. Once again, you hammer at home. Almost. Close enough. You have a good cluster going underneath the right side of this guy's ribs. The bolt hammers in, not as deep as the one you shot before. It must have maybe clipped some of the armor. You do 9 damage, correct? 9 damage?
Yes.
So you see him nudge once again, but it is not enough to lay him low. You do see him you see the leg begin to quiver, and he looks hurt. There's a little bit of blood seeping out of the wound now through the armor, starting to drip onto the floor. But he's still standing. You've got a free action.
That will end my turn. I do have Essence of Tarkag in my pouch, correct?
You do. You have it.
Shit.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I had that in my notes.
Do you want to imbibe it?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. That will be the end of your turn. So, Marius, after just you see a bolt hammer home. You didn't see the first one because you were blinded. You see a bolt hammer home into the samurai you're facing, and he stumbles a little bit, nudges a little bit. He looks weakened. You might be able to take him even with your ruined arm. But then off to your right, the man that was standing at the altar turns to face you. And you notice that, oddly enough, the pigmentation of his skin is off. He is heavily tattooed, but his skin has almost reptilian look to it, like scales. It's unnerving. And a forked tongue flicks out of his lips, and he hisses at you and lunges in your direction. Go ahead and roll me some defense,
try to bite me?
sir.
All right.
Roll me some defense.
That's a 5 out of 47.
Okay. He almost, you feel his jaw slam shut almost inches from your throat as he lunges through the air.
Jeez.
And he almost would have taken a chunk out of your body if you would have connected. But you managed to get your, which is kind of an awkward angle because you're holding your pick with your left hand, but you twist your body just enough to get the pick in the way, and it kind of batters him across the head, and he lands behind you, and he is going to then attempt to ram you with something else that you can't see at the moment. So go ahead and roll me one more defense.
All right. That's 38 out of 67.
38. Jesus. So, yeah, you once again spin the other direction this time. The samurai appears to not be capable of capitalizing on you being engaged with these two assailants now. And you sweep the pick behind you, and you feel a hook as it connects with possibly his foot and knocks it to the side. And you hear him kind of hiss behind you, and he just stands there. Looks like he's ready to attempt to murder you the next round.
Oh, yeah.
You can take another point of momentum for that.
All right.
So, yeah, that'll count as 2 for you. That'll count as 2. That's fine. All right, that is the end of his turn. Now, Seamus, you've seen all this happen. The one at the altar turns in your direction, Seamus. And he clasps his hands together and begins chanting. And you watch as a bolt of energy
no!
It's almost like formless. It looks similar to the color that is the almost like unknowable color that is emanating from the altar behind him. And it streaks in your direction and plants dead in your chest.
Oh.
Shit.
Let's see here. It deals 6 damage to you. You can subtract your toughness bonus for this one. But you feel almost like it doesn't physically hit you, or it doesn't do any physical damage. You feel it connect with your body, and it's almost like just your energy is sapped from you, and you watch as something is pulled from your body and tethered back to the man who you will have noticed actually has a feathered beard growing from his face. And he kind of just opens his mouth and inhales whatever was pulled out of you, and he looks a little more lively.
Oh, no.
And that is the end of his turn. Seamus, you then, after what just happened, reeling back, you glance over to your left, and the 2 figures that just entered into the room begin running in your direction, but they stop about 15 feet short, and they both begin chanting themselves. But that's all they can do for this turn. That brings us to the bottom of the round, well, the top of the round, so the next round down. I hope you're keeping track of these for your arm, Marius.
I am. Only 2 down.
It is it is your turn.
All right. I think I'll attack the samurai again. Try to stop this guy. So that's what I'll do.
Go ahead and make me an attack.
All right. That's gonna be 31 out of 77.
77. Okay.
Yeah.
31. All right. So you lash the pick out, and you see a opening. You see that he's slouching to his right, where the bolts have hammered home, and capitalizing on the damage that Seamus has done, you bring the pick through his right arm. It just comes clean through it. Bypassing any armor that he might have been wearing. It just shatters the wooden pauldron on his shoulder. And for the first time you hear him, "Ugh!" in pain. And let's see here. Yep. You just see a burst of blood just shoot out of the wound. And he drops to both knees and just looks up at you as he is completely helpless at this moment. but you have another man fighting you. What would you like to do?
Oh, yeah, I do. I guess I'm just going to kind of face the other guy now.
Okay,
he's right
so he
upon me,
looks.
right?
He's not dead, but he looks incapacitated for the moment. He looks
Okay.
basically he's dropped to 0, so he
Okay.
cannot move from where he's at currently without standing up at least. So we'll see how this goes. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, I'll just kind of turn and face.
Face the man with the scaled skin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You face in his direction.
And I'll can I talk in Essence of Tarkag, or is it just like grunts? And such?
It is. I will say you can probably speak, but it's probably going to be a little muddled. I mean, your mouth has grown almost like wolf-like canines and things like that. You've taken on a beastly aspect, essentially.
Yeah. I'm going to turn and look towards the other monk with the scales. And can I see the other monks now? Am I aware of the other monks that are coming
You
in?
would be aware as you spun around. You would have seen the other 3 in the room with you that appear to be focusing on Seamus at this moment.
I'll kind of just bellow out, "You will all grace Moore's garden tonight," and and that will be my turn.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and, you know what? Roll me an intimidation check.
Oh yeah. So, question: I
Yes.
have Essence of Tarkag.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm gonna roll.
It does not bonus your strength, just so you know, for this roll.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh, okay.
No.
I
No.
was like, let's just be honest here. They're intimidating. That's going to be a 37 out of 55.
Okay. All right. I will make a note of that, and we'll see if it comes into play.
Okay.
All right. With that, it is now the samurai's turn. Marius, you hear him shuffling behind you, severely wounded at this point. You hear some rustling, some movement, but that's it. That's all that, unless you want to turn to face him.
Well, it's not my turn. Can I?
You could probably
glance at him,
glance
I
over
guess,
your
with
shoulder
my
if you'd like. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
It
like to
appears that
glance.
he is currently trying to remove the bolts from his side and staunch the flow of blood coming out of his body. He looks pretty bad off. He's almost leaning against the altar at this point.
Okay.
So that would be what you see. Seamus, it is your turn. You are currently, you just had something leached off of you by a monk with a feathered beard, and there are 2 more closing on you very quickly. You would notice that one of them has a very interesting characteristic, as he appears to have 4 eyes, almost like a spider. 2 where they should be, and 2 more right above them. And then the man next to him has cloven hooves and apparently large, almost talons for fingers.
Don't like spiders. Alright, I'm going to turn and face the guy who shot that spell thing at me.
Yes.
And unleash my final bolt at him.
Okay. Before you do, I need you to roll me a cool test, because you just had magic launched at you, and that's the first time that's happened.
That is true.
A cool test, that is going to be a 16 out of 44.
Okay, easily. You keep it together. You're not going to suffer any penalties. As a matter of fact, you're a little pissed off. So go ahead and loose your last bolt.
Sigmar. Oh, these numbers. That is going to be a 46 out of 56.
46 out of 56. All right. You launch the bolt, and it is careening towards his chest. And you watch as his hand snaps down at the last moment, catches the bolt mid-air before it connects with his flesh. He spins it around and throws it back at you. I either need you to...
The fuck?
I either need you to... oh, shit. I need you to attempt defense in some way. You have your Sea Dragon cloak still, if you'd like to attempt to block it. That's up to you.
Yeah, what would the blocking one use? Would it still use
It's just going to be just your... You can either attempt to dodge, because you see this coming, or you can attempt to block it with just your weapon skill, because you're not proficient in shields of any kind.
Yeah, well, I'll try to block it. Oh, Shane's getting pissed. That is a 27 out of 40.
27 out of 40. All right. So you bring the cloak up, and let's roll for this real quick.
Oh no! His jaw again.
Let's see.
No! Fabricated.
DM's rolling good tonight. I know, it sucks.
Okay. All right. The bolt that you just fired, you bring the cloak up, protecting your face and body, and it strikes you in your right leg, down towards the bottom of the, actually towards the center of the meat of your thigh. And it pierces, obviously, something somewhat vital, as blood begins immediately shooting out of the wound. You have 2 bleeding conditions. And you take... Let's see here. What's his bonus? You take 4 wounds.
All right.
You just take 4 wounds. No negating anything. It just pierces into your body. And is there anything you'd like to do with the rest of your turn? You still have your free action and your movement at this point.
If GM allows, I want to throw my crossbow at him, and rip open my pouch and drink Essence of Tarkag.
Are you sure you want to throw your crossbow at him?
I'm pissed. I just want to throw the crossbow bolts on the ground. Seamus is pissed.
Are you going to try to rip the bolt out of your leg, or you just drop the crossbow?
Just drop the crossbow.
Okay. So I'm going to say, just for benefits of everything, you drop the crossbow at your feet, throwing your cloak back, and find your Essence of Tarkag with your offhand, and take a big long guzzle. And in that moment, you feel the similar effects that you experienced very long ago, as you instinctively almost curl down into a fetal position while still standing, clutching at your gut as the elixir spreads throughout your body and your muscles distend and grow, the veins bulging out of your forearms, and your body seems to actually shift and move. The wooden pauldrons that you had attached to you, as well as the wooden breastplate, don't have the flex that your leather armor or your chainmail has, as a matter of fact. And the braces on them snap off as they fall, as your body distends. So you are no longer protected by the wooden armor, though you still have your chainmail on. Is there anything else you would like to do? You still have your movement, if you like.
Yeah, with the rest of my movement, I'm gonna get up in his face.
Okay, so you charge at him. It hurts still, but after taking this, you can feel the fangs of your mouth, your canine teeth have distended, and they're digging into your lower lip a little bit, and you just bite through the pain, literally, and begin charging him and close the distance. You are in melee with him. He can't do anything. But neither can you, so you're just kind of standing there at the moment. That brings us to the monks to your left, Seamus McCready. The two of them begin to spread out. They get about 10 paces apart, each of them. They begin circling you. So you now are facing one, and then you have one over your left shoulder, one over your right shoulder. The one over your left shoulder is the one that has the 4 eyes, and he is going to begin chanting himself. All right, and you just hear him chanting, and you feel almost like a pull of heat emanating from the altar being pulled back in his direction and kind of entering him. Though you don't see anything happen, you just feel it. And the other one begins chanting as well, the one that has the cloven hooves and the talon claws. And let me roll that real quick. And he kind of stutters for a second. Almost as if something shifted. And since you're not kind of looking at him, you don't see what happens to him, but you hear him kind of wail for a second in pain, and his chanting stops for a second, though you can't see what's going on behind you.
Oh. Do I see him?
Yeah, you probably see him. You see him, Marius. You see him reach up and begin scrawling at his eyes. It looks like he's trying to rip his eyelids off of his face. There's obviously something went horribly wrong. But this is the one with the cloven hooves and the talons are digging into his face around his eyes.
Warhammer magic.
Yep. treacherous. So that's the end of his turn. So that brings us to Marius Wolf. You currently have a wounded man at your back and a very lively one at your front. What are you doing?
If I go to deliver a finishing blow on the samurai, would it give the monk in front of me a opportunity attack?
No, it would not, because you are not leaving the space.
Okay. Would it negate my momentum?
No. It'll just be. You won't gain any momentum, but you won't lose any either. You'll just keep the same. Okay. That's the way I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So, how do you want to end him? He is. He can't defend himself right now. He's too badly hurt. He has the critical wounds that were inflicted upon him pretty much negate how much momentum you have. He's not going to be able to defend himself. So,
I wish I had 2 hands. You know,
you only got one.
I only got one. I'm going to just dart my head back and say, "I haven't forgotten about you." And then swing my pick towards his head, just to pierce from temple to temple on his head.
Okay, so you swing, you launch the pick in a almost like baseball arc out to the side. You don't need to be deceptive or have any tactical acumen with this strike. He's defenseless, and you watch it as the tip passes through the wooden helmet and the armor, and blood shoots out of the eye sockets of his mask, and you see the other side of the pick penetrate out at the other side of the helmet, and wood splinters, and it looks like possibly brains and blood shoot out with it, across the altar. And as the blood is spattered across the altar, you see it hiss. And then the blood itself begins to writhe and take some kind of hideous shape as he slumps dead and begins spilling the life's energy across the base of the altar, and it's sizzling as it does so.
Gee.
Pull the pick back, and I'm assuming you face the remaining monk with the scaled skin.
Yeah, I'm just going to be kind of grinning with my fangs.
All right. This is round 3, or is this round 4?
I think it's 4.
This is round 4.
Yeah, this is 4.
Okay.
So I had 3 bolts.
All right, Marius. You have one more round of Essence of Tarkag before you're gonna have to make a check, just so you remember. All right, Seamus McCready, it is your turn, sir. What are you going to do?
All right, so I've got 3 people pretty much surrounding me.
So you currently the one that wounded you with your own bolt is the monk with the feathers coming off his face like a feathered beard, and they're kind of a monochrome of colors. And he's chanting to himself currently. You have the 2 behind you. One of them appears to be doing something, pulling energy to him, and the other one is still kind of screaming in pain at the moment.
All right, I'm going to go for the one straight in front of me because he's pissed me off.
And are you drawing your blade?
I am. I'm going to pull out that cool sword.
Okay. You reach down, draw it. Go ahead and make me an attack.
That is going to be a 49 out of 55.
Out of 55. So the monk continues, the feather beard man keeps chanting and is watching you closely. And his eyes dart down to the sword, and they kind of widen for a second. And you watch as, almost with no effort, he nimbly dodges out of the way of your slash as you were going to slash across his belly, and he nimbly just takes a pace back where it barely passes by him. Minimal movement, and you swing wide.
Hey, monks.
You have lost your momentum, sir.
I have. Damn it.
Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Nope.
Okay. So you just stand there fuming. Perhaps your aim was thrown off by the elixir. You're not used to its effects yet. It is now the monk with 4 eyes off to your left. He continues chanting, barely making that. And the other one stops clawing at his face. And instead rushes you from behind, Seamus. I need you to defend yourself, sir.
All right. That is going to be a 35 out of 40.
All right. So, you feel almost instinctively a hand lunging towards like the back of your neck. And you bring the pommel of the blade back and knock aside an opened palm. Brushes to the side. I need you to roll one more defense, sir, as another attack is coming your way.
That is going to be a 14 out of 50.
Okay, once again, his other hand then lashes out almost in a claw motion. Looks like it was angled towards your thigh, your outstretched thigh, and your stance. But you bring the blade down, and the blade connects with flesh, but it doesn't pierce. Oddly enough, you kind of hit him on the wrist, and despite there just being skin, somehow it doesn't pierce the flesh, but it knocks the hand aside. And you have 2 momentum on your side.
All right.
All right. That is the end of the round. This is round 5, Marius. Round 5.
All right.
It is your turn. What are you doing in this moment?
Going to attack the monk in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and make a weapon attack at the scaled individual.
Yes. That's going to be a 48 out of 87.
48. All right. Okay. Oddly enough, this man, creature, beast, whatever it is, stumbles back horribly.
Oh, no.
He doesn't stumble back in time to dodge the blow, unfortunately.
Oh.
In fact, in the process of him stumbling back, he critically failed on his defense. You see that there appeared to be a hidden blade in his hand, and it flings out in the direction of the man that was clawing at his face and strikes him in the throat. Doesn't appear to like pierce the flesh too much.
Oh, okay.
But it glances off, and he kind of and the man kind of bellows or kind of grunts in his direction. And as he's stumbling back, the pick plants in his chest. How much damage did you just do?
20.
20. Jesus.
I might use 8 levels of success,
8 levels of success. Yeah, of course. I mean, why not? Why not use 8 levels of
Why,
success?
yeah, use it.
Let me do this. Minus. Whew, jeez. So it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. He's not down, but the pick pierces almost directly in the center of the chest. You must have barely missed a vital organ. It pierces down through, and then he kind of pulls instinctively back, clutching at the wound. But he's barely standing. You can see that the color is draining from his face. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
That's all I can do.
Okay. It's the end of your turn. Seamus McCready, it is your turn.
All right.
You have 2 men on you. You have the one with the feathered beard, and you have the one with the cloven hooves and talons kind of behind you.
Yeah, I'm going after that feathered beard guy. I just don't like him.
Okay, go ahead and make me an attack.
And we are at 2 momentum. Oh, yes. That is a 70 out of 75.
Barely made that. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So you lash out this time. He looks pretty confident in his chanting. You draw the blade and an arc across his chest. How much damage do you normally deal?
The sword does 4 plus my strength.
So that's 7. It'll be just a straight 7. Okay.
Well, he's got Essence Tarkag, right? So we
that's right.
Tarkag, my
that's
strength
plus
is up
another
there now.
3, so that's 10. Yeah, because it doubles your strength modifier. So that's 10 damage. Okay, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Let me do the math real quick. Okay. You definitely draw a decent gash into his kind of chest across both pecs. Blood sloshes out, not like arterial blood, but enough spreads across. And while this happens, you feel a burst of energy in your hand as the blackened, almost purplish blade kind of glows for a second, and you see something similar to what he did to you siphon out of this man's body, and he almost stutters in his chanting, but keeps it together. And you regain a wound, as apparently you have sucked some kind of essence from this man. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No, I can't think of anything cool to say.
Okay. It is the end of your turn, and I hope you have those fate points ready. The monk behind you, Seamus, with the 4 eyes. You hear his chanting come to a crescendo, and you glance back almost instinctively as you feel heat kind of building in his direction. And I need you to attempt a dodge. Marius, right. I need you to do the same, because you are within so many feet of him.
All right. Can I use my momentum?
Yeah. You can use your momentum.
Okay.
All right.
What's my dodge? All right. So.
What'd you get, Seamus?
I rolled a 6 out of, with my momentum, it would be a 57. Okay,
that's good. Marius?
I rolled a 21 with my momentum. It would be 86.
Man, Jesus. Okay. So, Seamus, how many levels of success is that for you?
Let's see. It was, what was it? 57. So it's 4 or 5 because I rolled a 6 out of 57.
6 out of 57. Okay, so that's 4. Okay.
It's 5. Yeah, well, it should be 5.
And then for you had 6, correct, Marius?
Yeah, it's
6. Okay. So Marius, you also feel the heat as well, even though you are about 10 feet further into the room. And you glance over, and something instinctual tells you to get the hell out of the way. And you dodge, you just lunge backwards in the direction of the altar, rolling behind it as heat and what appears to be blue flames shoot from the mouth of the 4-eyed monk as he inhales and then exhales blue flames 30 feet into the room in a cone.
Damn.
Which encompasses you, the altar, and the apparently Seamus and the monk behind him.
Oh no.
Seamus, you do not make the cut, sir.
Oh.
You take 4 damage as the flames lick around your body. You can negate it with your toughness, which basically you just take 1 wound, essentially.
Yeah.
You are lit on fire. 2 flaming conditions.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I do believe, are you currently bleeding as well?
I am.
So you should have taken 1 wound last turn from your bleeding condition. I forgot about that. You now also have 2 flaming conditions. You need to remember to use your resolve points to get some of these off when your turn comes around. As the blue flames lick around your torso and your body and are sticking to you. And I need you to make me an endurance test, Seamus.
All right. Did I lose my momentum?
You lose your momentum, yes.
All right. Oh, geez. That's a 98 out of 55.
You take 2 points of corruption.
Oh, my God.
As the flames appear to not be giving off... They do give off some heat, but there's something horribly wrong with them as they are sticking to your body. And as you are just wreathed in flame and you didn't quite get out of the range of what happened. You're in too much pain right now to kind of glance around, but you feel... we'll get to your turn when that happens.
No.
At the same time, the monk with the cloven hooves, after seeing that display just happen, I will also note that the monk with the feather beard, Seamus, it appears that he nimbly dodged back behind him and is now plants down in front of Marius Wolf, looking at him dead in the eye in a crouch.
All right.
But he has also escaped the flames.
The monk with
we'll
the
get to that in a
scales,
second, though. Say what?
The monks with the scales in front. Did the monk with the scales in front of me dodge?
He was actually out of the radius.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's in like a weird cone. So he was standing in that direction. So yeah, it didn't actually hit him.
Okay.
But it appears that it's not hitting the altar. Like it curved around the altar, almost as if there's some kind of dome of some kind of energy covering the altar itself, and it kind of licks around the sides of it. The monk with the cloven hooves and the claws, who none of you can see in this moment because Seamus is wreathed in flame and Marius is taking cover behind the altar, does something. You're not sure what he's doing. And now that brings us to Marius Wolf's turn.
All right. Let's roll endurance.
I need you to make me an endurance test.
All right. Is each round 10 seconds? Or each round 10 seconds? Or 6 seconds?
It's not very specific, but I'm going to assume 6, maybe 10. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, because if it was 6, then I wouldn't have to roll till 10. 10 rounds.
It's
But
just
if
your
it
toughness bonus in rounds. That's all. It doesn't matter how long the rounds are. So,
okay, cool.
which is 5. So 5 rounds, and then you got to roll to see how many more you can stave off.
I got this is right. 24 out of 60.
60. So you think that so basically you feel the hunger begin to grow in your stomach, and just using your natural resolve, you think that you've got the equivalent of 3 more rounds before you're going to give in to the after effects of this elixir.
Okay.
So you're good for 3 more
Am I
rounds.
still juiced?
You're still juiced, yes.
All right. All right. All right. The juice is loose, and I'm going to attack the...
So, yeah, the monk with the scaled skin is out of sight, but the
Yeah.
one with the feather beard is crouched in front of you.
Okay, so I can't see the other one. I'll attack the one in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack.
We're capped at 6, right? Momentums.
Yes. Cap at 6,
Okay.
no more. Then it gets crazy.
That's going to be a 45 out of 97.
Okay. So, yeah, how do you want to kill this guy?
Can I, I don't know. I guess I just want to, take the back end of my pick and, I'm behind the altar, right?
Yes, you're behind the altar.
And just kind of, catch him on the side of the head and just, bring him down onto the altar full force.
Okay.
And just, crack his head against the altar.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Okay, so you basically you thrust out with the pick, and he dodges underneath, and you catch him by the back of the neck. And as you use your momentum to pull him towards the altar as you spring up, and you feel this wet, sick crunch as his face just implants with the stone altar. Which now that you've kind of leaned against that, you see that there is some bronze work along the corners and along the top of this altar. But doesn't matter, as this man's head just pumpkin splinters as it connects with the edge with your enhanced strength as it is. And he obviously slumps down dead. But once again, you see this hissing, almost smoking, like mist peel off of the blood, and the flesh beneath and the loose, the spilled life essence begins to writhe and move on its own accord, as if it was just given new life.
Oh, gee.
There are flames blocking you. Blue flames are stuck to the ground. You don't know how, because there is stone floor, but somehow they're still there, and they are writhing back and forth on each side of this altar. You were just barely able to dodge this. With your movement, you could probably get around them, and then the next turn have enough distance to engage the monk with the scaled skin, if you like. If you want to move in that direction.
I'd like to do. I'd like to move around the flames and get in position.
Okay. So you see kind of a path, because it didn't reach all the way to the wall. You run out ahead, another 10 feet, actually another 15 feet away, and then curve around the edge of this cone. And you think by your next turn you'll be able to engage him. And you can, at this point, you can see him. He looks very, very hurt, and he's kind of looking around, trying to see you through the fire. That's the end of your turn. It is now Seamus McCready's turn. Seamus, you take 1 wound from bleeding. I also need you to roll me a d10, sir.
Oh, shit.
Let's pile it on. That's a 3.
Okay, so luckily for you, the flames, though they are still clinging to your body, don't appear to have severely burned you any more than they already have. You do take 1 more wound just from being on fire. But yeah, now your turn is yours. You have 2 bleeding conditions and 2 flaming conditions.
Well, I'll burn a resolve point to get rid of one of those.
Okay. Which one do you want to get rid of?
Probably the burning conditions.
Okay, so you have you get rid of 1 burning condition with a resolve point. So you still have 1. If you want to put yourself out, it is going to take an action to attempt to do so, and it is an athletics test.
Could I use the free action for that?
No. No, it's an action. It's an action.
All right.
Or well, I mean, you could attempt to charge, or you could attempt to at least get out of the fire. It's up to you. You're still in the fire right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge at the other monk that was close by.
Okay, go ahead and make me an athletics test as you begin charging towards him through the fire.
Ooh, that is a 2 out of 27.
So you feel resistance as you begin charging through the flames towards him, and you glance down, and it looks like the stone itself has become a mass of writhing tentacles within the flame, and they are trying to wrap themselves around your leg and keep you inside. But you, with your juiced up form, manage to pull your feet through. It minimizes the amount of movement you can get, but you do manage to just barely get into range with your assailant. So, and his eyes kind of go wide as you close the distance with him.
Oh yeah, here we go. Going for this kill. That is going to be... Well, it's going to be close. That is going to be a 51 out of 55.
51 out of 55. And he... Let's see here. You lunge towards his... once again, towards the chest. Just trying to impale him with your blade. Your blade sings out, and you watch as the eyes kind of shift to where the blade's incoming, and he steps to the side, and you swing wide. Missing. But you're out of the flames and the writhing tentacles that are within it. I'm assuming that's the end of your turn now?
Turn.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. It is now the scaled monk's turn. He's looking around, and he's going to save you some trouble, Marius, as he spots you, and he begins running in your direction. Go ahead and roll me some defense, sir.
All right. No shit. That's a 77 out of 97.
You lucky bastard. So, all right, you watch as he, almost in supernatural form, jumps into the air, and a kick lashes out towards your head. And as it happens, you duck, and as he's coming over the top of you, you bring the pick back, and one-handed plant it into his back and drive him to the floor. And you hear a boom, a crunch, as the actual rock underneath splinters from the impact. And he flails back and goes limp. He's obviously dead. So yeah, you've killed another one. You wrench your pick out, and yeah, he's obviously not going to have any more turns. So there's that.
How many
The
monks are left
monk
right now?
that with the 4 eyes that Seamus is fighting is now going to reach out and attempt to kill you, Seamus. So go ahead and roll me defense.
Oh boy. 25 out of 40.
Just lucky enough.
Oh.
So you see a hand shoot out, and it appears that it is charged in some kind. Like there's almost kind of electric crackle about the fingers, but it just grazes by your head, and you feel your skin prickle. Roll me one more defense with your momentum now.
With momentum, that is going to be a 40 out of 50.
Okay. So this time, however, you feel it doesn't hit you too hard, but you feel impact against the left side of your ribs as his leg came up as you were thought that you'd parried the last of his blows. Your wind kind of gets knocked out of you as you take 9 damage. You can reduce it by your armor and your toughness.
All right. So
but you lose your momentum.
All right.
And that's the end of his turn. Then, as you're kind of staggering, you glance over your left shoulder. Well, actually just to your left now, Seamus. And you see the monk with the cloven hooves and talons finish his incantation, and his entire body erupts in orange flame. It doesn't appear to be affecting him. It's just dancing across his skin and his eyes.
Oh.
And that's all he can do.
That's pretty cool, though.
So at the end of this round, Seamus. Nope, you have one more round, Seamus. You have one more round till you've got to make your endurance test. So that's the end of that. Now it is Marius's turn. What are you going to do? You have another corpse at your feet. You are within range of the monk that is glowing now, the one that had the cloven hooves and the claws with the flame wreathing around him, the orange flame. You can see Seamus is struggling against the other monk with the 4 eyes in the distance, but he's too far to reach.
Okay. Has the one that's wreathed in flames, has he taken damage? See,
not that you can tell.
I can tell he doesn't look okay.
Yeah.
How big are these flames?
They're wreathing his body. They're not like
Okay.
it's not like a bonfire. It just looks like I don't know. It's not massive flames, but there are flames licking across his chest openly, and they are bright orange.
All right. Fuck it. I'm gonna go charge him and hit him with my pick.
Okay, go ahead and make me an attack.
All right. That's a 60 out of 97.
Okay, so that's a critical hit. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
All right. 92.
92? Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me one more.
$21.
Could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. How much damage do you do right now? How much damage is that total?
What did I roll? I rolled 60, so that would be 3. That would be 18.
It's 18 damage. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of weird how this happens. All right. So you sweep down with you're still one-handing this pick. You kind of slide your grip down to the very end of it as you're a little bit timid at the fire wreathing this individual, and he turns towards you, and he doesn't look like he was prepared for this assault. And as he goes to attempt to dodge out of the way, you bring the pick down, and it pierces through his left thigh. And once again, you must have hit something extremely vital, as the color, even wreathed in flame, just drains out of his face. And blood spills out across, openly bleeding from this wound. At the same moment that you hit, the flames themselves detach from his leg, writhe up your pick, and dance across your body, lighting you on fire for 2 flaming conditions.
All right.
As you strike him, you take 3 damage, which you can negate from your toughness bonus, so you just take 1 damage from the fire. But as you remove the pick, as you're on fire, you're just, as you pull it out, he slumps to both knees and then collapses face down in on the floor, and he's unmoving, and the flames sputter out and cease to exist.
But I'm still on fire.
But you are still on fire.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Sure.
All right.
Can I use a resolve to take one away?
Yeah, it is your turn, so yes, you can. You can use a resolve point to remove a flaming condition. So now you just have 1.
Yeah. Okay. Is this round 7? Is it round 7?
This is round 7. You still have 1 more round before Tarkak runs out.
Okay, but I can use my 2 hands now, right?
Yes, you can. So this following round, now you can. You feel that your right arm, where it was previously just numb and kind of limp at your side, you feel some tingling sensations in your fingers, and you flex it a couple times, and you think that you'll be able to use it. So that is the end of your turn. It is now Seamus McCready's turn. You feel the burst of heat behind you, Seamus, as some spell just happened, and then it was quickly dissipated somehow. Bellow from Marius Wolf means probably something good happened. You don't know. And you are still facing the monk with 4 eyes.
All right, so I'll do another resolve.
Well, first
point.
off, let's do your damage real quick to see if you fall to your knees dead. You take 1 wound just from your bleeding conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And you take one wound from your fire condition that you still have.
All right.
Would you like to remove a condition?
Yeah, we're going to remove that last fire condition.
Okay. So the fire is dissipated just through like the kind of the movements that you're making. You manage to put out the blue flames that were stuck to you. They are snuffed out. Oh, I need you to roll me another endurance test, actually, because you were still on fire.
Oops. That is going to be a 16 out of 55.
Okay. So this time the corruption does not set in. Despite your natural resistances, you get the idea that this was a very potent source of corruption. So, yeah. But it is no more. At least it's not going to affect you anymore. So, yeah, you're free to do as you will now.
There we go. Try and cut his head off or something.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, yeah. That's a 25 out of 55.
Okay. This time, he is not quick enough. You slice him across his right arm. The blade bites in, and you pull away some flesh. That is 12 damage? Is that correct?
Let's see. So it's 4 plus the strength. Yeah.
Yeah, 12. Okay. Okay. All right. He kind of flinches back from the wound, and at the same time, it pulls some energy from him, and you regain a wound from dealing damage with your sword. The blade the purple blade sucks up something, and you feel that tinge of vitality flood through your system once again. Is that the end of your turn?
That'll end it.
Okay.
I'm hanging in there.
It is now the monk's turn that you're fighting. And despite all of his companions being dead at your feet, you see he begins chanting once more, and he lashes out with his hand. Go ahead and make me some defense.
Oh. Oof. That is a... Can I re-roll this?
Yeah, you can. You have fortune points. Go ahead.
Alright. Much better. That is a 32 out of 50.
32 out of 50. Okay. So he lashes out, and you see his palm is crackling with energy one more time. And it lunges for your throat again, and you bring the pommel of the blade up and skitter the hand away from you before it can do any damage. Then he follows with a roundhouse kick. Go ahead and make me some more defense, sir.
Shit. That is going to be a 40 out of 60.
All right, you once again manage to bring the butt of your blade down and knock the foot back down to the floor before it can connect. Barely hanging on there, barely hanging on. All right, now that is the end of the round. Seamus, I need you to make me an endurance test.
All right. Including my momentum, or no?
No momentum. No, just a straight endurance test.
27 out of 55.
Okay, so you think that you feel the gnawing in your gut as the effects of the essence of Tarkag are beginning to wane, and you grit your teeth, and you think you've got about 2 more rounds worth of juice left in the tank. And Marius Wolf, it is now your turn.
All right.
You are within what you believe striking distance. You believe that you can rush up next to Seamus and hopefully put down this last monk, if you so choose to.
I would like to use another resolve point, take away my fire.
Oh yes.
Last fire.
Unfortunately, you do take damage before.
Okay.
You only take 1 damage though. Well, once again, just 1 damage. But then, yeah, you can use your resolve to put it out as you rush forward. The flames dissipate.
Mm.
Go ahead and make an attack if you'd like.
I shall. Question: did my
Yes.
momentum get taken away?
Yes, it did, because you were lit on fire and you took damage.
Okay. Am I far enough for a charge?
Yes. You have to be for you. I believe you have to be 30 feet, and you're well within 30 feet. So.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna attack him then.
Go ahead.
That is going to be 58 out of 60. Be close.
All right, and I'm assuming you're using
Just a
it with
success.
both hands now.
Yeah, I'm using it with both hands.
You clench the pick two-handed, and you run, and Seamus, you hear Marius bellow out, and you watch the pick flash towards the last remaining monk, and he brings up his hand and catches it before it pierces his
shit.
flesh in one hand, and then throws it to the side.
Oh man.
And Marius kind of stumbles a little bit, but you're both standing side by side at this point, facing this one man. Is that the end of your turn, Marius?
Yeah. Look at this wall of beef, you know.
All right. Seamus, you immediately take one
Beefcake.
wound from your bleeding, actively bleeding from your leg. And what would you like to do now?
All right. I believe I have 1 resolve point left. Can I stop one of those bleeding effects, or will
You
it
can.
work that way?
You can use 1 point of resolve to minimize it to just 1 bleeding condition now.
right.
Go ahead
I will
and
do
do
that.
what else you will.
And we're gonna try and finish this dude off.
Make an attack.
That is going to be a 61 out of 75.
All right. And he does not get out of the way this time. You once again,
Yes.
you make another slash across his chest in the opposite pattern. So now he has an X across his chest. As you do, you feel the blade sink in, and as the blood spurts out, you regain 1 wound from you pulling the essence out of this man. And he looks mild. He looks decently hurt now. He's still very much standing, but he looks hurt for sure. And he kind of flinches back, prepared to lash back out. Is that going to be it for your turn, Seamus?
That will be it.
All right. It is now probably the monk's final turn. Let's see how this goes. First off, let's see here. Seamus. No, actually, Marius. Make me a defense of some kind.
Okay. That is going to be that's not very good. It's 47 out of 50.
Okay. Do you want to re-roll it? Do you want to add a success level?
Yeah, I'll reroll it.
Okay. Go and re-roll.
Oh yeah, that's much. That's a 20 out of 50.
A 20.
Yes, sir. That was,
As the fist crackles with energy and lunges in your direction, Marius, how would you like to end the final monk in this long, drawn-out fight?
maybe for a little thematic flair here, as he's trying to punch me, I would like to kind of like grab underneath his arm, grab his arm and just throw him as hard as I could against the the wall,
Okay.
just like a Herculean throw.
Yes.
As far as I can.
So you are severely juiced up right now with Essence of Tarkak.
Yeah.
It's about to run out, but you still have monumentous strength right now. And as he lunges, as he overreaches with the punch, as you can see that he's bleeding from his chest quite a bit, you grab a hold of him, and he loses his footing. And you pick him up over your head, two-handed, as your pick clatters to the floor, and throw him as hard as you can. It's about 15 feet to the wall, and you see his corpse smack off of one of those disgusting writhing statues as it breaks in half over one of the writhing arms, the tentacled arms of the humanoid creature. And you hear just the breath escape his lungs, and his body collapses at the foot of the statue, dead. And that's where we're going to take our first break, guys.